Yesterday, Donald Trump took executive action to provide coronavirus relief directly to the American people. And of course, Democrats are upset about this. You see, for the longest time, Democrats and Republicans have been at a political impasse over certain issues with each other's respective coronavirus bills. If you look at the mainstream media, they'll give you a surface level view saying things like Democrats wanted to give Americans $600 in bonus benefits every week, and Republicans wanted to reduce it to $200 because they felt that too much money incentivized people not to work. But that's an overly simplistic view. In reality, there were much more serious things that Donald Trump and the Republicans disagreed with. Notably, Democrats want universal mail-in voting in their coronavirus relief package, which the Republicans and Trump say it makes no sense to include. Not only that, we have seen all of these problems across the country with mail-in voting. Why would they want this unless they want the chaos? Strangely, however, they also wanted to ban voter ID in states that mandate it, and they wanted to get rid of mail-in voter signature verification. What? That seems to me like the craziest thing to include in a coronavirus relief package, let alone to ask for anyway. Don't we want to verify signatures for people who are sending in mail-in ballots? That seems patently absurd. But not only that, why would they include it in the coronavirus relief package? Well, because of this impasse, Trump signed several executive orders that the Democrats are calling absurdly unconstitutional. And it puts them in a really awkward position. Trump is offering up cash and relief to the American people, and they're actually challenging him on this, and it's going to make him look really bad. They're being warned now by Republicans, don't play this game. You're just going to get everybody mad at you. But of course, here we go. Now, I speculated there's no way they're going to challenge Trump's executive actions in this way because people need money right now. I mean, people are facing evictions and they need to eat. So the Democrats and many on the left have taken another approach, outright lying about what Donald Trump did. And I am impressed at the brazen attitude. Like the actions these people are taking is bold and incredible, to say the least. Take a look at this from the top post, one of the top posts in the political subreddit, r/politics on Reddit. They say Trump just admitted on live television he will terminate Social Security and Medicare if reelected in November. Wow. 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 The only way to combat what Trump is doing is to just lie about it. Trump didn't say he was going to terminate Social Security or Medicare. That's insane. Trump's talking about temporary deferment on taxes that he would potentially forgive for now. And yes, there is some concern about how that would impact funding for these programs, but in no way did Trump call for terminating these things. As some conservatives have pointed out, wow, Trump must be over the target for them to be this panicked about what he's doing. Trump is going to offer up some really amazing relief packages or benefits to people. One thing that really surprised me is that he's zeroing federal student loan interest. So these people have to pay back their student loans, no interest. That's kind of crazy. I saw that and I was like, wow, that's actually what I've been recommending for quite some time. It's a kind of debt forgiveness in a limited capacity. Incredible. And there's going to be Trump's offering up $400 in unemployment benefits, 200 more than Republicans had initially offered. So Trump is absolutely compromising where he doesn't need to. Well, of course, we're going to see nothing but lies and smears from the left. And here we go. They're claiming he's going to gut Social Security and Medicare, which we are nowhere near saying that, nor did Trump actually say that. So let's do this. Let's take a look at what Trump is actually offering up in these executive orders, talk about whether or not they're actually constitutional or not. And then we got to be real, man. Look, Democrats, you're not going to be very popular if you try and stop this relief from going through with absurd things like getting rid of voter signature verification. What excuse do they have for that? We're already panicked and worried about the disaster that is mail-in voting, and now they want to take away signature verification? Trump said straight up, they just want to cheat. I can't think of any other reason why they would do this. Well, let's read the news before we get started. Head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There are many ways you can give. The best thing you can do, subscribe to this channel. If you haven't subscribed already, look just below the video. There's a little button that says subscribe. Give a little tap, a little click, and you'll be subscribed to my channel, and then you will be more likely to receive my videos that I put up on this channel every day at 4 p.m. Also, don't forget, hit that like button, that notification bell. Let's read the news. From NTD, they say, Trump takes executive action to provide reduced enhanced unemployment payment. President Donald Trump took executive action on Saturday to extend the weekly enhanced unemployment payment at a reduced level. He signed a memorandum during a press conference on Saturday afternoon at the negotiations between the White House and the negotiations between the White House and the Democrats collapsed. The new payment will be $400 per week. The federal government will cover 75% of the cost, while the states will pay the rest, he said. The president said that some governors might not be happy with the actions, suggesting that he didn't negotiate with all governors before the announcement. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi didn't immediately respond, though I do have a statement from her following this. They go on to say, the president also, via executive orders or memorandums, deferred payroll tax for Americans earning less than $100,000 per year from September 1st, authorized the Department of Housing and Urban Development and the Department of Health and Human Services to offer eviction protections to renters and homeowners and extend the term of relief to student loan borrowers from September 30th to the end of the year. The payment, which was authorized by the Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Security CARES Act and was $600 per week on top of existing unemployment benefits, expired on July 31st. The White House and Democrats failed to reach a deal on extending the payments. The White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, and Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin started negotiations with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer on August 1st. Quote, at this point, it's clear Democrats want to play politics with American jobs, Meadows wrote in a Twitter post right before Trump's press conference. Since Democrats won't step up and do their job, Donald Trump will do it for them. There are several areas in which the two sides disagree with each other. The Democrats want a comprehensive stimulus package consisting of $3.4 trillion, while the White House prefers a smaller bill as the first step in addressing the most important issues, including an extension of the enhanced unemployment payments and eviction protections for tenants. Pelosi and Schumer also want $915 billion in aid for state and local governments included in the bill, to which the White House offered $150 billion. Trump said on Saturday that many requirements from the Democrats are irrelevant to the outbreak, including bailout money for states and local governments, articles to ban voter ID and signature verification, and universal mail-in ballots. Meanwhile, the Democrats are blocking measures supporting K-12 school reopening, additional money for the Paycheck Protection Program, additional money for hospitals, testing, and vaccines, and direct payments of $3,400 for families of four, he said. So the Democrats are opposed to some of the direct stimulus. But I got to stop right here, man, and ask, why are Democrats trying to shoehorn in this weird voter ID ban, signature verification ban? I mean, I understand why they want universal mail-in ballots, but hey, man, getting rid of signature verification? What is this? And I'll tell you what, it's not new. The Las Vegas Review-Journal says Democratic lawsuit seeks to eliminate signature verification on mail ballots. They've been trying to do this since May at least. Well, how are we going to know whether or not someone literally actually voted? Why are the Democrats trying to take away voter security? Sorry, man, you got no answer. You really, really don't. Trump said they're trying to cheat. That's the only thing I can see. So how do you think I felt when I saw this post last night on Reddit? One of the top posts on the entire website. For those that are not familiar, Reddit is one of the most trafficked sites in the world. It is an extremely popular social media site where people share links. And one of them was from a leftist activist website called Common Dreams, where they claim Trump just admitted on live TV he will terminate Social Security and Medicare if reelected in November. What? We are getting into crazy territory, man. I tell you. It's going to get rowdy as we come up to November. So I hope y'all are ready. They're planning this White House siege thing, 50 nights of, protest, nonviolent, they say, good for them, in front of the White House. So it's coming. And now they're just straight up writing fake articles. Well, we get one up. We get one upped in terms of a better strategy from Huffington Post. They say, Trump using COVID-19 as a cover to gut Social Security and Medicare, critics charge. Americans were looking for relief. Instead, the president promised to defund Social Security and Medicare, said a Florida lawmaker. Oh, please. No, he didn't. They're talking about the payroll tax deferment for now, The taxes will be deferred, so employers can choose to give more money to their employees. It's going to be something like 7 or 8% more money. And according to Fox, it may come out to about $1,200 per worker. Trump payroll tax executive order, likely worth $1,200 per worker, Kudlow. Trump directed a payroll tax deferral to run from September through the end of December. You will still owe those taxes, okay? So when next year comes around and you file your taxes, you probably won't get as big of a refund. You might not get a refund. You might actually end up owing. The point is to make sure you have the money now instead of giving it to the government so then you get it back at the end of the year. That makes no sense. Most people get refunds. Instead of waiting for that refund, you will have the cash today to spend. It makes a lot of sense. It's your money. Use it when you need it. If you're familiar with that commercial, you see the joke? Anyway, the point is, it may, if Trump gets reelected, he says he will forgive the taxes and he may make the payroll tax deferment actually permanent. So I guess at that point it would be a payroll tax cut. Of course, all of these lefties are now coming out saying that he's trying to strip or defund. Hold on a second. First of all, you can argue that it could ultimately lead to this. That's fair, but they've taken it a bit too far. Trump didn't say that. In fact, you could theoretically find other ways to fund these programs outside of these specific taxes, payroll tax. Well, Cory Booker says this is all a stunt. Cutting employment benefits and threatening Social Security and Medicare only deepen the pain people are feeling. Congress must act in a way that meets the scale of this crisis. Trump and Senate Republicans need to stop the games and come to the table now. No. Hold on. I'll say this. Cory Booker, it's at least a bit fair to say he's threatening Social Security and Medicare. Fine, I guess. It's a little circuitous, but you could argue that taking away these payroll taxes, well, we do need that money to fund those programs. Sure. But you want to know who's playing games? I'm sorry, man. It's the Democrats. You want to remove voter signature verification? Dude. Hold on, man. I got a ballot to my house from somebody who did not live here and did not request it. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do with it. It's still just sitting on my desk. So you mean to tell me that somebody could take that, fill it out, mail it in, and you wouldn't verify the signature? So what? Okay. Sorry, man. Sounds like y'all want to cheat. Okay. You put that in there for some reason. I got no idea. And that's what Trump's complaining about. You want to argue about other issues like bailouts for states? Fine. But so long as that's one of the issues, I don't trust you. This is weird. Why take away voter ID from states that already have it as a law? 37 states have voter ID requirements. Why would you get rid of that? Universal mail-in voting at a time when we're seeing 84,000 ballots in New York disqualified, 65,000 ballots nationwide, additionally, according to NPR, through no fault of the voter disqualified? I'm sorry, man, y'all are crazy. And now they're trying to make it seem like Trump's coming after your benefits. Nah, spare me. Ayanna Pressley says, don't let the occupant of the White House distract you. He just unilaterally cut Social Security and your unemployment benefits in the middle of a pandemic. Oh, man. I love it. There are lefties right now saying Trump slashes unemployment benefits by $200. No, he didn't. The unemployment benefits expired. He upped them. The Republicans wanted to do $200. I don't like the Republicans either, man. So Trump did the compromise of $400. What do you expect? I guess he could have done $600, but we don't know how. I don't know how much money is allotted to the, for the CARES Act now. Apparently, the funds are already apportioned, and I guess this allows them to extend a little bit longer, though you'll get a little bit less. It's a compromise. This is all nonsensical. This is all a lie. Let me tell you something. They're trying to act like he's gutting Social Security and Medicare. I hope you're ready for this. From Reuters, 8 years ago, Congress extends payroll tax cut, sends to Obama. Congress on Friday, February 16, 2012, is when the date of this article came out, passed legislation extending a tax cut for 160 million workers through December and continuing long-term jobless benefits, handing President Barack Obama a major victory in this election year. A major victory, you say? A major victory, you say. February 16, 2012. And of course, Nancy Pelosi had to chime in defending the payroll tax cut, which was not offset by spending cuts or a tax increase on millionaires as Democrats sought. House Democrats leader Nancy Pelosi turned to a conventional Republican argument that tax cuts end up paying for themselves by helping boost economic growth. The payroll tax cut, Pelosi said, stimulates the economy by injecting demand and creating more jobs. Well, why isn't that argument being put forward now by all these other Democrats? Why are they jumping the gun and saying Donald Trump is stripping away our benefits? Because they just wanted to get in their wacky voter nonsense. Trump, you know what? Maybe it was unconstitutional. Maybe it was. Nancy Pelosi says Trump's coronavirus relief executive actions absurdly unconstitutional. All the Republicans have hit back saying DACA would like to have a word with you. If Barack Obama, they say, can tell law enforcement agencies not to enforce the law, well, then certainly Donald Trump can. He can't tell you you can't pay, you don't have to pay the taxes, but he can defer them. So Nancy Pelosi says it's unconstitutional. Oh, Mnuchin says it's not true. Mnuchin warns Democrats against challenging Trump's executive orders. Trump on Saturday signed these orders, blah, 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 we know. Now, I'll tell you what. I don't know who's right or who's wrong. I will tell you this. The American people need relief. I am particularly impressed with zeroing the student loan interest rates at the federal level, something that in the past I've praised and I think is the right action. Right now, the Democrats are not going to get their weird voter stuff. And because of this, the compromise has been pushed forward. What are you going to do? I'll tell you what, though. If the Democrats try to stop this, whoever tries to sue the president to stop these executive actions, you're going to be pretty unpopular as we're getting dangerously close to people being evicted. Many people are already being evicted and they need protections and they need cash now. Fox reports. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin warned Democrats on Sunday that any legal challenge to President Trump's recent executive orders would delay financial assistance to millions of Americans as he defended the move to drop federal unemployment benefits from $600 a week to $400. Quote, "We've cleared with the Office of Legal Counsel all these actions," Mnuchin said on Fox News Sunday. "If the Democrats want to challenge us in court and hold up unemployment benefits to those hardworking Americans that are out of a job because of COVID, they're going to have a lot of explaining to do." Woo-hoo-hoo. Trump has got the Republicans between a rock and a hard place. I'm sorry. Trump has got the Democrats between a rock and a hard place, not the Republicans. It's Sunday. Spare me. Or forgive me. It's a lazy Sunday. The Democrats have a choice to make. Are they going to fight this and hold up the benefits or just accept the compromise? They say the president's order calls for $400 instead of $600. We know this. The previous unemployment benefit, which expired on August 1st, was fully funded by Washington, but Trump is asking states to now cover 25%. He is seeking to set aside $44 billion in previously approved disaster aid to help states, but said it would be up to states to determine how much, if any of it, to fund. So the benefits could be smaller still. When questioned why the administration lowered the federal unemployment benefits, Mnuchin said it was a fair compromise and that the White House had offered to continue paying the $600 a week while they negotiated with Democrats. Fox News Sunday host Chris Wallace countered by saying the administration had offered to extend the $600 benefits by 1 week. Right. So they could, negotiate. Well, there's a bit more going on, I suppose. In all of this, Trump's polls are improving. I got to say, man, I think the Democrats are really losing steam for a lot of reasons. Trump narrows gap with Biden as campaign chief credits coronavirus briefings. Trump trailing Biden by just over 6 points in RCP national average. Yeah. Maybe the American people are tired of the bickering. Look, Congress's approval rating is really bad. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. Trump's approval rating is higher. For Trump to step in, cut through the BS and say, I'm getting you your benefits extended to the end of the year. I'm signing it. You want to fight about it? Go ahead. Take the benefits away. Maybe it's unconstitutional. Both sides are arguing this. But I think there's reason to suggest that Trump's, his polls are going to start improving. And it has a lot to do with someone finally just getting stuff done. Listen, I don't like the idea of the president unilaterally passing law like DACA or, whatever Trump is doing. But right now we're in an emergency. And typically when there's an emergency, people kind of chill out a little bit. We do have to be very, very careful about what Trump is doing. 100%. Rest assured, if you come back and say, well, Obama did DACA, so we're just going to do coronavirus relief, you're playing a dangerous game of giving the executive branch too much authority. And I'll tell you what will happen. In the next administration, you're going to get some wacky lunatic who's going to say, hey, Trump did it. Obama did it. You can't claim I can't do it. Then they'll say, well, past president did say he could do it. I don't like any of that. But I'll tell you this, man. I would personally, It's easy for me to say, mind you, but I don't like what Democrats are trying to push through with this weird voter stuff. I think it's dangerous, really, really dangerous. I don't want to see any of these creepy political games. Getting rid of signature verification, that's insane. So you know what? If Trump is going to pass, if he's going to push this through with executive action, it needs to be done. It really does. There are people losing their homes every day. There are people who have lost their jobs. They can't eat and they need the support. And we cannot have the system collapse. There are a lot of problems that came along with the coronavirus relief package. And of course, I've complained about it. But I did say this before. If we just sit back and wait, people are going to suffer. People are going to go nuts. So we'll do what we can with the problems that are being generated. Short-term Band-Aids on a bullet wound, I suppose. But I don't know what else to do. I'm not gonna pretend like I have all the answers. I see the Republicans and Trump trying to compromise, and the Democrats want things unrelated to COVID. So you know where my bias is going to be. I'm going to see Trump's approval rating go up. Check this out. Fox News says, President Trump has been narrowing the gap in recent weeks with Democratic challenger Joe Biden, both in national polling and in some key battlegrounds. A development his new campaign manager is crediting in part to his relaunched coronavirus briefings. There's a reason why I'm bringing this up amid the, executive action talk. Trump is taking action on COVID, and the American people like it. When Trump was doing his daily briefings, he reached an all-time high for his approval rating in aggregate. So I'm willing to bet that amid all of this political impasse and stupid bickering between those in Congress, the American people are going to be happy about it. Trump is standing up. He's telling people what's going on. He's giving these briefings. His polls are improving. And now he's taking executive action to help the American people. They're going to be happy about it. They say. This is not to say the president is in comeback territory. His approval rating remains deeply underwater. And he's trailed Biden in virtually every national poll since the beginning of the year, even before the coronavirus pandemic. Racial unrest and more presented an unprecedented test to his presidency. That's not fair. As I think RCP mentioned, he's got, Trump was hit with 3 political nuclear bombs. So, what can you expect? As these things start to clear up, Trump will probably begin to start improving. People are going to be happy to see their unemployment benefits coming in. And if somebody wants to challenge Trump, they're not going to be happy about it. And they're going to point the finger at whoever is jamming them up. I think in the coming months, we're going to see a lot of chaos. You got the 50 days of siege planned at the White House. You've got these political fights between Trump and the Democrats. But I think it might ultimately come out in Trump's favor. I really do. I think right now the polls are wrong. Absolutely. We've seen the study from, University of Illinois, where they mentioned the Beltway Politico bubble in journalism is smaller than it was in 2016. So these people don't know what they're talking about. The Democrats are getting a skewed view. They're pushing stupid policies. And I think people are starting to pay attention. Not only has Trump's COVID briefings helped him, but he had that, he gave that speech yesterday. He addressed the nation. He signed the executive action. I'm willing to bet it's going to give him a boost. They say the latest RCP national polling average shows Trump trailing Biden by just over 6 points compared with 9 points a month ago. More significantly, the race is tightening in some key swing states. In Florida, Biden is leading by 4 points, according to the RCP average, down from 8 in late July. And Trump is also seeing a tightening in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, trailing Biden by roughly 5 points in each, though the needle has not moved much in Michigan. But if these polls are wrong, like they were in 2016, and Trump's actually doing better, then the fact that the polls are improving show that he's doing way better than anyone realizes. The one thing you need to consider is the national polls are relatively meaningless. They're meaningless because Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. You got a lot of people in New York and California, so it makes sense. Now we're seeing people flee from these areas. The people who are first to flee are likely the more conservative. They're likely going to flee to suburban and rural areas, and this will probably hit some swing areas. And if they register to vote in time, it'll turn purple areas into solid red. Of course, the media is saying the opposite. They're arguing that we could potentially see a Joe Biden landslide, which makes no sense to me. It's this idea that the American people have amnesia. Maybe they do, but I don't think they do. I mean, people have consistently watched my content. I don't think these people are forgetting. In fact, my viewership is way up, which means more people are now starting to wake up and get politically active. But I got to point out as well, same is true for progressive channels and people that hate Trump. What we're really seeing is both sides desperately trying to focus everything on politics to activate as many non-voters as possible. I certainly hope so, man. I am not thrilled about what will happen if Joe Biden wins. I mean it. I think the Democrats have sold their souls in order to gain power. Trying to remove voter signature verification, to me, reeks of corruption. Trying to get rid of voter ID, trying to mandate universal mail-in ballots, to me, it just reeks of corruption. Why would you need to do those things? They say voter disenfranchisement. No. Mail-in voting disenfranchises people. In May, the Washington Post said younger voters, first-time voters, and minority voters are the most likely to be disqualified with mail-in voting. Why are they mandating these things which are going to hurt minorities? They're full of it. They're lying, man. So I'll tell you what. Trump forced it through to bypass that absurdity. And I think the American people are responding positively to this. I think his coronavirus briefings are working out. And over in Portland, it's been nothing but insanity as people march through neighborhoods with bullhorns screaming, "You don't get to sleep, wake up." They go on people's property. They fight with cops to try to burn down buildings. If that in any way helps Trump, man, I'm sorry. If that, yes, whatever. I'm tired. It's Sundays. Forgive me. But if that in any way helps Joe Biden, I would be shocked. It will help Donald Trump. It helps Trump all the time. As I you know what, I'm going to wrap it up here before I fall asleep or continue to stutter. So stick around. I will have more segments coming up at 6 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimCastNews. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.